So it's actually less about what you need to be doing and more about allowing the space, allowing the pause, allowing your body to do its thing. Hi, I'm Dr. Emily Roedersheimer, and welcome to the Push Pause to Heal podcast. I am a family physician who was trained and spent over 15 years in family practice before I found something called functional medicine. And it changed my life and it changed my career. And I now practice functional medicine. My practice is called Balanced Living Functional Medicine. And I help women, just like myself, learn how to work with their bodies to create healing and transformation that lasts a lifetime. My story starts when I was 10 years old and I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. My joints would swell and I was on medications from age 10 until many years until I found functional medicine. And if you're not familiar with functional medicine, the tenets are something I'd like to review with you. So functional medicine is really root cause medicine, meaning we look for a root cause to your underlying condition or symptom. What's bothering you and why is that? Instead of covering it up with a Band-Aid, a medication, and just trying to kind of quiet it down, we really want to know what's underneath of that. So for myself, what was driving my rheumatoid arthritis? As I was introduced to functional medicine and this concept of a root cause, it really kind of opened my eyes to start to wonder about that question. In my training in medicine, I had never thought or been told to look for a root cause. And so that was a big aha moment for me. The other thing that I would say about functional medicine that I learned is that in functional medicine, we realize that our lifestyle is so much of what's driving either our health creation or the problems that we're dealing with. And there is a lot of power in small shifts and changes in our lifestyle that can allow our body to heal. And that leads me to another tenet of functional medicine, which is that our body has this beautiful innate healing capacity if we give it what it needs and allow it the right environment. I have seen and witnessed so much healing in my career on myself as well as on my clients that I'm just in awe of what the body can do and what it's capable of if we work with it. So now I'm on a mission to help others learn how to work with their bodies, listen to the signals that it's sending, and create that balanced lifestyle to have the environment where the body can heal. The body can do the work. We actually just have to line everything up and let it do its thing. It's beautiful to watch. And so you might be wondering, why did I name my podcast Push Pause to Heal? And so I'll tell you the story of that. But when I say push pause to heal, what I'm talking about is this concept that I like to call a micro break. So these tiny little moments in our day where we can stop. I call it pause because stopping sounds abrupt and maybe like we won't get started again. But if we can pause just long enough to step off the hamster wheel, the consistent, constant doing, striving, what's next? Check this off the list, go further, do more that I used to do and still am recovering from, and that I see all of my clients doing as well. Women in today's society, I have to say, there's so much on our plates. We're trying to be the best mom and the best spouse and the best in our career, and we forget to take care of ourselves. We're taking care of everyone else, and we kind of come in last. So my goal is to help bring some of that back to normalize women's ability to take a pause and have some rest, and that you don't have to feel guilty and that you're not a bad person if you slow down. So these pauses, this micro break concept is something I actually learned at my first functional medicine conference. So at that conference, I was aha moment after aha moment. I was just so excited by what I was learning, the different aspects of the lifestyle and the power that they can have over our life. For me, nutrition was a huge one I needed to learn about. The foods that we eat can promote inflammation or remove inflammation, actually cause healing. So shifting what I was eating was a big change for me in my rheumatoid arthritis journey. Sleeping more, getting enough sleep, allowing my body to heal. And when we sleep, we rest and heal, and all the good things happen. Movement, having the right amount of movement, not overdoing it, but not sitting too much as well. And then this concept of stress management, which the first three made a lot of sense to me, kind of intuitive. I really, though, the stress management thing, I'm like, I don't have any stress. What are you talking about? I'm handling everything. I am a busy working mom and I've got it all going. It's all good. Well, what I didn't know was that busyness was actually part of the root cause of my rheumatoid arthritis. And as I learned more and more in functional medicine about how stress creates inflammation, it creates damage to our body that we don't even really realize. Stress is this esoteric thing that nobody, we can't really hold it in our hand or measure it very easily. So it's easy to ignore or to normalize. Honestly, I had been stressed for so long, starting back med school or even before, that I didn't see it. I didn't know it was there until this conference kind of opened my eyes. So at this conference, we're learning about stress. It started to make a whole lot of sense. Some light bulbs were going off, although I still didn't really think I was stressed. I could see maybe that others were. I didn't really think it was a problem for myself. And then they had the entire audience go through a mindfulness practice. This is like a 20-minute quiet, they guided practice where we all sat in our chairs and closed our eyes and let somebody lead us through this. And at the end of that 20 minutes, I remember thinking, what is this feeling? Where did that heavy pressure feeling on my chest go? What is this calm, peaceful place that I'm now finding for myself? It was new and I was kind of hooked. I didn't know that was possible. I don't know the last time I'd ever really felt that way. I can't even remember. But this moment of this glimpse that I had caught of this beautiful, calm place was a moment of awareness that this was going to be part of my healing. And I didn't know that I needed it, but it was such an eye-opening experience. I didn't think at that time that I had 20 minutes to spend in a day to get into that space, but I decided I was going to commit to 5 minutes. And that was a big deal, honestly, to commit to 5 minutes for myself at that point, when I was thinking all that my value really came from all the juggling and the caretaking I did for others. But that 5 minutes was something that started really shifting my healing even further. So what I decided to do at this point in my career, I was still in family practice, seeing about 30 patients or so a day. I would go through a busy morning and have a lunch break where I would typically shovel in my food while typing and answering messages from patients and reviewing lab results and refilling prescriptions and all of the things. And I decided that I was going to step away at lunchtime for 5 minutes. I still had piles of things to do, but I was going to just take a break first. And what I would do is I would go out to my car and I would drive right next door to the parking lot of my practice was this nursing home that had these beautiful evergreen trees. And I would park facing the evergreens, kind of out of the parking lot from my practice. So I felt removed a little bit. And I would set a timer on my phone for 5 minutes and I would just stop. And I would close my eyes and I would allow myself to not be productive for those 5 minutes. And I would get that sense of calm again, that the heaviness would leave for a few minutes. I would find myself back in that space of peace, stillness, clarity. And from that place, I would go back to work when the timer went off, and I would feel different. I could handle all those messages without feeling quite so overwhelmed. I could be much more present with my patients that afternoon because I took this break. And that sense of peace and calm started to last beyond the 5 minutes. With regular practice, I started to be able to shift myself out of that constant pressured state. I like to call it survival mode. A lot of us know what that means. It's that sympathetic side of our nervous system where we're go, 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 hamster wheel. We don't stop. That space is damaging to our health, which is what I've learned in functional medicine. In that space, our body goes into literal survival mode. It's all it wants to do is survive that moment in time. So it's not really going to put much effort or energy or focus on the things that are not critical for survival. So take, for instance, optimal digestion. We don't really need to digest our food optimally if we're trying to survive this exact moment. Our hormones don't need to be perfectly balanced so we can procreate and have a baby if we're trying to just stay alive, right? And our immune system, it's really not that important to fight off that virus or that, that cancer cell that's starting to form that the immune system would typically kind of go after and quiet down. What does that matter if we just need to survive right now? So those things really are kind of take a back seat. All the repairing, the detoxifying, they take a back seat when we're in this constant go, go, go survival. So the beauty of these pauses that I learned to take, these micro breaks, and I'm going to tell you how you might be able to do them for yourself, is that they shift our nervous system, even for a little bit of time, into something called the parasympathetic side, which is our rest, digest, repair, heal, restore, detoxify, all the good things that we need for optimal health, not just surviving this exact moment, but optimal health. All of those things can happen in that space. The beauty of it is that if we actually slow down to get into that space, guess what? Your body does the work. Your body is kicking in all the good things it knows how to do. It's turning those on to heal for you. So it's actually less about what you need to be doing and more about allowing the space, allowing the pause, allowing your body to do its thing. So let's talk about how you might be able to implement this pause for yourself. I'm going to give you an overview of how I would suggest you do this, but I want you to make it your own. It's really only going to work if it's something that's personalized to you. So if you don't like part of what I say, or if you want to shift part or add something else in, go for it, because this is all about you and how you're going to optimize this pause for yourself. So the first step is maybe one of the hardest, and that's to find the time and the space to do this. It really does take a commitment to yourself. It really does take you deciding that you're worth 5 minutes. It takes you putting yourself back on the to-do list and not just everybody else's needs and wants. So that commitment, I'm asking for 5 minutes. If all you feel like you can have is 3, start there. If you literally will only be able to take 1 minute, start there. It is better than nothing. And you'll start to catch that glimpse like I did, and maybe be able to extend or want to extend this pause for yourself. So you found your time and find a space. If that is in your office, you just close the door. For me, if I'm going to do it in my office, I'll close my laptop down, and that's fine. You can go in your car like I used to do, in your bedroom. I've had clients sit in their closet. That's a quiet place and nobody can bother them. So wherever you can find a space, you found your time, you've committed to yourself. That's step 1. Congratulations. Step 2 is going to be setting a timer. If in the back of our mind, we're always worried about, I'm going to miss the, getting back into whatever meeting or thing I need to be doing, then you're not going to be as effective. So I want you to set that timer so that you can really let go of worrying about, is the time up? Is it over? And just be. So set your timer. And then if you're comfortable enough, I would invite you to close your eyes. When you close your eyes, you remove a whole lot of stimulation. All the visual inputs that our brain has to deal with, focus on, sort through, go away. And so that allows for less of our brain to have to be doing, and will make it easier for us to shift into that rest and digest and repair mode. So you close your eyes. And then the thing I would suggest is to start with 5 deep breaths. And we're talking about like the full deep breath where you filled your chest, but your belly rises too. We're like kind of sticking our stomach out and you're breathing in, you're getting all of that air in until you can't get any more. And then you're going to blow it out. And bonus points if you can hear it. There's an audible sigh, that feels so good. And you're just going to dump all the stress out when you exhale. You're going to do that 5 times. When you take a full deep breath like that, you are actually going to stimulate something called the vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve is this beautiful nerve that starts in the brain and it winds down through your neck, into your chest, through your heart and your lungs and into your gut. And it helps slow everything down. It pulls you out of survival and into that healing state. So let's utilize the vagus nerve, but with those 5 deep breaths. That alone can be a big game changer. But the next step I like to recommend is a body scan. This is where we start the top of our head and I want you to start to think through where you might be holding tension in your body. Is your forehead crinkled up? Is your jaw tight and tense? Do you feel there's some tightness or compression in your chest that you need to let go of? Are you holding tension in your glutes and your butt and your thighs? We're going to just work down and I want you to let it all go. When you find tension, breathe into it, thank it for trying to help you and let it go. We do so much holding during our day. We don't even realize. A lot of times we're holding our breath or not breathing very deeply. You might be holding that tension anywhere in your body. Your shoulders might be up by your ears. You're bracing for life. And that bracing is keeping you in the sympathetic mode, the survival mode. So I want you to let go of all the holding and all the bracing. What that also does when you do this body scan is it reconnects you to your body. So much of the time you walk around in your brain with your thoughts. Thoughts are just bouncing all over the place and you forget you have a body. You forget that there are signals and clues and gentle whisperings coming from your body that can guide you on how to heal, how to thrive if you can only listen to them. But you can't hear them if you're not connected. So this body scan helps you reconnect your brain and your body. It's a beautiful thing. Then when you're finished with your scan, I want you to notice how you feel. Have you found that sense of peace or calm? What feels different? What feels lighter? What feels more capable? And I want you to kind of name it. And then probably the most important last step is to set an intention on how you can bring that into the rest of your day. This intention is sort of like a bridge where you're going to hold that newfound peace and you're going to sprinkle it into the rest of the day. So the intention might be something like, I am going to hold on to this newfound peace that I have, and I am going to see how I can continue it throughout the rest of the day. Something that simple, whatever works for you. But setting an intention or being intentional reminds us that you didn't do that for nothing. You didn't take a pause for no reason. You did it and you have an outcome, and we want to help that outcome last. So you set your intention and then you go back to your day. And my guess is you'll find, like I did, that there is more focus. There's more clarity. There's more patience with our family and loved ones. There's more peace. There's more ability to be intentional with your choices and how you want to show up for the rest of your day. So that's how you push pause, and that's how you heal. This was a huge tool for my healing. I don't take any medications for my rheumatoid arthritis anymore. Without taking the time to pause and allow my body to do some healing, I wasn't going to get off of those. I feel so good now. I just want to share with others how to do this as well. Each week, I will be hosting this podcast to offer you tips and tricks and insider views on how to allow your body to heal, how to push pause, how to find space, and get to a place of thriving instead of surviving. I will bring on expert guests that will show you what's worked for them and how they can push pause in their life. I thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you on our next episode.